Hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons, and oh my god, it starts tonight and I'm not ready, and I know I say this every single year, but I'm never ready. My mind, my body, my soul will never be prepared for the Eurovision semi-finals or the final. This happens every year. But I guess I can kind of help you lovely people be a bit more prepared because, now is kind of your last chance to get the scorecards. Links in the description, I made them myself. And I'll be using it as a frame of reference for this video because, as ever, pre-show review, I say this every year, I have no idea what I'm doing, but generally, I'll go through all the songs in running order, give my thoughts on the running order itself, the rehearsals that I've seen so far, and then at the end of the video, give my 10 predicted qualifiers and my 10 desired qualifiers, and then we'll come back tomorrow and see how close those thoughts actually were to the reality that what's gonna happen tonight, oh my god. But yeah, point is, scorecards in the description, use them as you please. They'll still be here like this time next year because I just went back and watched last year's pre-show reviews and the link still works in that. So if ever you feel like re-watching this year's semi-finals after they happen, those scorecards will still be available for you to download then, I think. The internet is a transient experience. Anyway, let's get on with the show, and opening is Cyprus, and as I recall, didn't Cyprus close their semi-final last year? So I guess it kind of all comes full circle. I don't really have any big thoughts, like the staging is a little bit underwhelming for Tanta specifically, but like, on the whole, that kind of reminds me how people have been really digging into the, like, cinematography and the stage and everything. Like, people, please, stop complaining. On the whole, it's not that bad. Like, yeah, Cyprus's camera work isn't, like, astounding, their staging isn't innovative, but, like, it fits the song, fair enough, and the same could be said of Tanta herself. Like, her vocals aren't, like, blowing me away or anything, but they're at least serviceable. It's just, I did see a tweet saying that Where Your Love by Ali Ryan from the German national final, that sort of song would suit Tanta's vocal style better, and I see where they're coming from, I guess, but, you could do worse than this as an opening number, and I think Tanta will do it justice, but we'll see if she lives up to the hype of last year. I don't think she will, but we'll see. And then following her is Montenegro, and I think Montenegro performing second is just going to make Cyprus shine all the more because the Montenegrin staging so far looks a little bit catastrophic. Like, it's weird how there are other countries that have like 1 or 2 people on stage, but they fill the stage. Montenegro has 6 people and they all look lost. They get swallowed up by the stage. I could be wrong. They might have some extra trickery up their sleeve to really make use of the stage and the camera work, but my hopes aren't high for this one, but you never know. As I've said on several occasions in previous years, this is Eurovision. Anything can happen. Surprises could well be a foot, or a head, or any body part really, and Montenegro has plenty of bodies and therefore plenty of body parts. Where am I going with this train of thought? Anyway, after Montenegro is Finland. I understand the criticisms against Finland's outfit, because what are those boots? But other than that, I don't think it merits as much the criticism as it's got, but then that could be said of basically everything this year. People have just been having too much fun tearing into the contest, and I'm just like, stop complaining about everything, though I agree. Finland should have kept the cube, and they didn't keep the cube, and everything is sad. Then again, I remember hearing a rumour that the Israeli broadcaster complained that, wow, only 5 broadcasters actually bothered to submit their props in time. Oh well, and that's kind of led to our current situation of a load of countries suffering with their stage performance. I don't know. I don't know the full details there, but maybe Finland was affected by that, because they need... It looks lacking without the cube, is basically what I'm saying, but I think they can make it work. And then after Finland, which is like really radio-friendly, really popular music kind of style, we have Poland, which is much more like niche and esoteric, and this is where like I'm really unsure of what's going to happen during the show, because their live staging, like, is... I don't know if they're going to keep the turntable, because that was a nice touch. Not as fiery as I'd expected, but then again, maybe they just didn't show those in the rehearsal clips. But what really blows me away with Poland is their live vocals sound exactly like the studio version. They are really good live performers, so Poland could surprise us this year, and I'd be okay with that. And then after that is Slovenia, which is another relatively niche song, and this is kind of everything Poland is, but in the opposite direction, in that, like, unsurprisingly, Zala's vocals are just like in the studio version, because most of the strain with this song comes from the emotional timbre of the voice, as opposed to hitting the notes themselves. Like, the notes are there, it's just, it's harder to convey the emotions than it is to hit those notes, and I think Zala does that perfectly, and I think the determining factor with Slovenia is going to be the cinematography of it, which, as I said, people have had so much fun just tearing into. But yeah, this is one of those ones where, kind of like Sweden last year, don't zoom all the way out, because I don't care how big you want to make the stage look. This is an intimate performance that requires intimate camera work. But, I mean, it's all well and good to be complaining about that now. The show is literally on tonight. They've rehearsed with that camera work goodness knows how many times by now, so all of my complaining won't get them anywhere. But I think the hype is there to make this song go somewhere. That was almost a statement. Anyway, following them is the Czech Republic, and they're one of, I think, 2 songs this year where their Eurovision performance is in a slightly lower key than the studio version, and I'm not sure why. But I guess it kind of works. My chief concern from the rehearsals, though, is Albert, stop jumping around like a chihuahua on crack. It's so clearly impacting his vocals. Like, okay, I get the song needs a little bit of cheekiness, a little bit of bounce, but the fact that in the rehearsals he's pouncing around all over the place and his vocals get all breathy, and like, this was one of the first things of this entire Eurovision season where the main appeal was how much people hated it, and people have chilled out since then. Please don't revert back to the hatred zone. Don't give them a reason to go back to disliking the song. Just control your breathing, man. But other than that, you know, it's a good, respectable song for the Czech Republic, and I hope it does well for them. And then after that is Hungary, which, once again, we're sort of weaving in and out between, like, niche and radio-friendly. And the Czech Republic is definitely radio-friendly, and Slovenia and Hungary are a bit more niche. So, in that regard, good job with the running order. Hungary's staging really impresses me so far, because, like, it's minimalist, but it really makes it work. This is what I was saying earlier, how Montenegro, 6 singers, but they all get swallowed up, whereas Hungary, there is literally just Yotzi, and first of all, vocals on point as far as I've seen so far, but also, he owns the stage, and there's just one of him, and I'm genuinely really impressed. I don't have much to add. And then there's Belarus after that, so again, sort of weaving back into the radio-friendly territory. Belarus is still my guilty pleasure of this year, which I did not think I would be saying when that song was first chosen, but here we are. Belarus is enjoyable. I'm still sort of like, are they gonna do stuff with those boxes that say Belarus props on them, or like, are they the props? Do they contain the props? Will the staging be a live unboxing video because that's what the kids like? I don't know. I like they've got sort of vaporwave-inspired graphics behind them. I'm hoping they're keeping that in the final performance, because in the second rehearsal footage, it looked like they'd got rid of the graphics entirely, and they were relying on their Barbara Dex candidate backing singers instead, but come on, use that weird-ass aesthetic and go for the gold, Belarus. I don't expect this to do brilliantly, but my god, it's gonna be at least fun to just... It's gonna be fun to watch where it ends up, because I enjoy it more than I feel like I should. Then there's Serbia, which, similar appeal to Hungary, live vocals, probably one of the strongest of this year, and I continue to be really impressed by Nevena as an artist, because, like, she's grown up so much after the last 10, 12 years, like, she's really come into her own, and Serbia can be damn proud of her. She's amazing, like, she looks gorgeous, like, I don't mean that in a creepy way, but, like, her, like, hair, makeup, dress, outfit, all of it is just stunning. The graphics behind her, similar to Hungary, minimalist, but with on-point vocals. I'm incredibly impressed by this. And then, after Serbia, we've got Belgium, and this is kind of where that pattern of radio-friendly niche kind of comes a little bit unstuck, because is Belgium a radio song? Is it not? It's kind of strange, and it seems like the live performance is aiming to capitalize on that strangeness a little bit, but, like, from what I've seen from the rehearsals, they got the people with the drumstick things. They're banging the drums at, like, all the wrong points in the song. Surely you're gonna want to emphasize the refrain rather than what they're currently doing. I don't know. They're trying to stand out, bless them, and it's absolutely not what anyone was expecting for this song, but sometimes deviating from expectation is a good thing, so you know what, more power to you, Belgium. After that is Georgia, another song that is viciously overhated this year and deserves to do so much better than people think it will. Because Otto, again, an amazing live vocalist, and then there's the 5 backing singers who sort of glide towards the camera during the Varda bit, and as I've told my friends, the only thing that would make them even more impactful is if they would, like, T-posing, just, that would make my day. It would completely ruin the atmosphere, but it would just be glorious. It'd be a glorious thing to watch. Anyway, after them, Australia, where it's like, it's a little bit niche, but mostly radio friendly, and like, people have been really hyping Australia up since the rehearsals, and like, for me, nothing's changed with this. Like, the staging is roughly what was expected, and, you know, good for them, having an aesthetic sticking to it. But I'm still amused by the initial rehearsal footage where, like, there's the two backing singers on the woobly sticks, I'm not sure what to call them, and then there's Kate in the middle, and, like, she's dancing to a different rhythm, or at the very least, she's dancing more slowly, whereas the backing singers are sort of swaying a bit more rapidly. And there is one point in the first rehearsal footage where she very nearly bumps into the backing singer on her right, our left. And so she has her hand out like this, and then the backing singer comes in, and she's just like, don't touch! Or at least that's how it looks to me, and it tickles me so much. But, and credit to her, it's not easy to hit those high notes anyway, much less when you're on one of these woobly sticks, and I would like to headcanon that there are just, like, hidden by the, like, you know, the augmented reality graphics, just on the stage, there's just 2 or 3 unpaid interns who are just standing there, like, wiggling the sticks for them. Like, it's not really the dancers who are managing the swaying, there's just someone down there going, whoop, 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 and now you dance. That was a really weird daydream, and I don't blame you if you have no idea what I'm talking about. After Australia, we have Iceland. Good times, not much to say other than I will be disappointed if the performance doesn't end with Shouty Boy climbing up behind Wacky Thumpo and just pushing him off the staging, because my mother keeps insisting that Shouty Boy, as we call him, should be the one who's, like, high up above everyone else, kind of like he's delivering some sort of sermon, except instead of about religion, it's about how hatred will prevail. And so the fact that it's Wacky Thumpo, as we call him, on top of the rig instead, bit of a wasted opportunity unless it ends with him being murdered, and that was my mother's idea. I'm not that twisted, maybe I am, I get it from her. Point is, there's potential here, but I think they're only going to capitalise on some of it, but then again, with a song like this, you don't really need to do all that much to turn people's heads, so they'll be fine. Then there's Estonia, which is kind of like a brief respite of relative normality in this sea of weirdness that the semi-finals sort of dissolve into, because Australia's a little bit weird, Iceland is incredibly, oh, this is a thing that's happening. Then you got Estonia, which is like Avicii-esque kind of radio-friendly pop, and I think this is going to be in direct contention with Finland for a qualification spot. I feel like they won't both qualify, but if one of them has to, it's going to be one or the other, which is just another way of saying what I just said. Wow, I am bad at this today. It's the hype. I'm just so buzzed for tonight, so don't worry about it. Then after Estonia is Portugal, and I don't know if coming after such a normal song will benefit it or detriment it. That's not a verb. Portugal is strange, and I can really see it going either really well or really badly. And I'll be controversial here and say that I wouldn't mind seeing it in the final, but I don't expect to. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if it missed the final, but it also wouldn't surprise me if it made it to the final. You know, it is, once again, a splash of something different, and yeah, sure, Portugal, the staging is very similar to Festival de Canção, but not completely the same. Like, they've got rid of the fletching tools on the hand, they've replaced his gold mask with, like, a more metallic-looking thing. They could make it work. I anticipate being impressed, but I can't speak for how the rest of Europe's going to react. Then there's Greece, where she, like, emerges from an onion like some sort of screaming Pikmin, and I'm okay with this, because, like, Greece has really impressed me with all the rehearsals. Like, genuinely, I anticipate good things for Greece. Like, they're basically a guaranteed qualifier, and also, much like with Albania in 2017, I think it was, I anticipate that I'm going to watch this performance and then just go, breathe, woman! Because in the rehearsals, like, she hits a high note and it just sounds exactly like, you know, if you, like, unplug a TV in the wrong way and it does that, like, multicolored test card thing and goes beep, like, that's kind of the note that she hits, and it's, like, that's not a criticism. She's, like, she can hold high notes, like, she's insanely talented, and I expect that the juries, and probably the televote as well, will reward her accordingly. Greece deserves to do well this year, and the performances that I've seen in the rehearsal so far are just testament to, watch out, Greece is here. And then closing the show, everyone's favourite pet country, little Soon Moo, as I like to call him, or San Marino, and I am so conflicted because, on one hand, I think it should qualify because, you know, it's a fun song, people aren't going to take it seriously, so if there's any flaws in the staging, they'll just brush that off as being part of the whole experience of a tongue-in-cheek song like this. And also, it has, like, the meme advantage of, oh, hey, it's Serhat again, so bearing in mind he came 12th in 2016, like, that's the thing I'm struggling to let go of. I've been impressed by the staging I've seen so far, but other people haven't been, and I'm not sure why. Basically, my only thought is make his microphone a bit louder, because of course, like, Serhat's voice is deep and gravelly, and it's gonna sort of intermingle with the bass notes of the song and make it harder to hear, so I think he should be boosted a little bit. But other than that, like, I didn't think I'd say this when they first announced that Serhat would represent his country again. Well, his country. His friend country. His pet country. His pet project country. When Serhat was announced as the Sammarinese representative, I didn't think I'd be so positive about their chances, and it might flop. I'm prepared for that outcome, but it also might not, because remember what happened with Valentina in 2014. It got to the point where people were like, okay, she's just going to keep coming back until she qualifies, let's give her what she's here for. Well, that's not the real reason why she went through, but like, you know, memes. I feel like that could happen again, and honestly, just vote for San Marino. It's a fun time. It's my personal number 4 this year. I want to see them qualify. I want to have to eat a shoe on their behalf. That's an in-joke if you're just watching this video cold turkey. 3rd time in a row making that pun and not calling it out. I want to see San Marino in the final, but I'm getting ahead of myself because now I need to grab the whiteboard of destiny and read to you my predicted qualifiers and my desired qualifiers. And note that those are 2 very different things. So, as always, I'll start with the 10 countries that I think will qualify, based on what I've seen so far, based on my thoughts and whatever. Those 10 countries that I anticipate seeing in the final are, in no particular order, mind you, Estonia. They're kind of my least certain, but I feel like they could make it. The Czech Republic, Serbia, Hungary, Iceland, Greece for certain, Australia, Cyprus, it could go wrong for them, but Slovenia, and San Marino. I want to believe in San Marino. Like, it is difficult to make a definitive list of 10. I kept coming up with 11 possible qualifiers, and I know that maybe my fandom for San Marino is kind of colouring my judgment, but I want to believe that this is the year where they'll make it into the final and turn some heads and make people be surprised, and we can dream. As for my 10 desired qualifiers, on the other hand, so this has nothing to do with what I think is going to happen, it's just, if I were in charge, like, if I were 100% of the jury and televote, the 10 countries I would personally put through on a completely selfish basis are Serbia, because oh my god, her voice, Georgia, because oh my god, his voice, Slovenia, I am sufficiently engrossed, the Czech Republic does not deserve the hate, it's a good song, San Marino, obviously, Belarus, it is my guilty pleasure. Hungary, because it's so sweet, and also, oh my god, his voice. Iceland, because I enjoy this. I appreciate the chaos. Finland, because out of Estonia and Finland, I prefer Finland, personally. This is more my sort of music. And then, just to continue being an agent of chaos, Portugal, why not? The whiteboard just completely fell over. Clearly this is a sign. No, but I wouldn't mind seeing Portugal in the final, to be honest. It's going to be weird and wonderful, and I am absolutely here for it, but that's just me. I apologise for how rambly this video came off, because I was much more succinct about it last year, but whatever. That's my thoughts on the first semi-final, and join me tomorrow for my live reactions to the semi-final qualifiers as they're announced, and also my post-show analysis, which I swear will be so much better thought out than this. I will continue to be Tessellating Hexagons. Don't forget, link in the description to the scorecards you can download and print out and use. They're double-sided. I put love and effort into them, and I am really bad at rambling. So, yeah, see you tomorrow, and I hope you join me for that. And, yeah, it's tonight!